All right. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for Make a Dog's Day and Homemade Toys, Puzzles, and Treats. We are going to get started in just a minute or two. We're going to let a couple more people get on the webinar, and we are just so excited that all of you have been joining us all day, and that you're continuing to stay with us. So far we've done tips and tricks for training your dog. We did Be Amazed, reading your dog's body language, and it's scientifically proven your dog loves you, our keynote with the Arizona State University professor, Clive Wynn. If you missed any of those and want to get them, they'll be the recordings will be on our website in a couple of days, so you can check back. And if you have a little bit of extra time and you want to join us for Instapets at 4 or Ask a Trainer at 6, you can still register on our website. All of those registrations are at berkeleyhumane.org. A huge thank you to Subaru for sponsoring this day, and this is a part of National Make a Dog's Day, which is part of Subaru Loves Pets Month, and so we're just so grateful to our friends at Subaru. And finally, Berkeley Humane is a nonprofit animal shelter. We provide in a usually normal year, we facilitate over 1,000 adoptions and do hundreds of spays and neuters and training classes. And you can always help us support our work by making a donation at berkeleyhumane.org. So now we're going to get right into some fun toys that you can make for your dog and your cat from stuff that you've possibly just got around your home. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to learn how to make a pull toy, a tugging toy, like a rope toy, and that we're going to use an old t-shirt to make. So, if you're like me, you have gone and done a bunch of, cleaning out the closet, don't have anything else to do during the lockdown. And so I've got this big bag of stuff downstairs. So the first thing that you'll need to do with it is you want to go along one side and make cuts about an inch or two in and about every inch or two down. So you are making a whole bunch, you're just making a bunch of like little flip tabs like that. And then if you rip, you end up with a strip. And so we're just gonna do that all the way down the t-shirt to turn this t-shirt into a bunch of strips of the jersey fabric. So instead of you watching me do that for this whole t-shirt, I've got another t-shirt that I have already done that on. So you can see we've got a whole bunch of strips of these, and these are really, loops of fabric. So then the next thing that we're going to do with these is we're going to turn them from loops into strips. And so we'll just cut right along the top here. And so now we've got some long strips. That's going to make a long and narrow pull toy. So I'm going to cut these in half one more time. Just flip them over so that the ends are about the same, and then do exactly the same thing here, where we are cutting that. And so now we've got just a whole big mess of strips of what used to be a t-shirt. Next, we need some stuff to tie the top and the bottom with. And so what I usually do is I take this t-shirt that I've cut the strips on, and then the arm has got just, it's a slightly smaller strip. So I cut that one, and again, you cut it you rip it. It's the easiest way to do it. And then again with this, we need it as a strip, not a loop. So just cut it. And so we have one. I did another one early, so we've got 2 of these strips. We'll put one away for now, and take our big, our mess of all of these pieces of t-shirt, and we're gonna tie it tightly at the top. And you want to tie it really tightly at the top, as tightly as you can, because we want it to hold together. And, this is a game that we're going to be playing with our dog and doing some pull, and, it's a little bit more of a rough and tumble. So the way I do it is I wrap it around once and wrap it around twice like that. And then just tie a really tight square knot. And so that's where it goes over and under. You can, because you've got a little bit of extra friction with the jersey fabric, you can just really pull tightly on it, as tightly as you can. And that's gonna, you can see how much it's pulled in right there, so that it's a really tight one. And then, you've done the one loop, you want to do the other to get your square knot. And, feel free to do one more time just to be even more secure. And so this is the start of our pull toy. Now we're going to take these strips and divide it into about 3 different groups. Should be about the same width. And then we're just going to braid it. So it's going from one side across the middle over the top, going from the other side across the middle over the top. It is always harder to do this facing you guys than it is facing me. Across the middle over the top. And so we're just going to keep on braiding it down. And these toys like this, you definitely want to be careful when you're playing with your dog with it. You don't want to do really big jerking motions, but take your lead from the dog. But they love playing with, a lot of dogs just love playing with these sorts of pull toys, and it's a great way to keep bonding with your dog. So with this one, just like with all of the toys we're going to show you today, we do not recommend that you do it, that you just leave it to your dog to play by themselves. They're not where some of the store-bought toys that you get, they can really be good enrichment activities while you are away. Just because we're making these out of household items, they should be supervised while you're playing with them. All right, so I'm almost done braiding this all the way down. And then I'm going to do basically the same thing. I'm going to do, exactly the same thing as I did at the top with the other piece of t-shirt arm. So here we have a braided toy. I'm going to grab this other piece of t-shirt and again, wrap it around twice. That'll give it a little extra friction. And then do your first half of your knot, pull it as tight as you can possibly get it, and then finish up your knot. And there you have it. So this is a great way to have some fun with your dog inside or in your yard or something like that. So for the dog that, and then I don't see any questions about it, but if you guys have any questions, feel free to put those in the Q&A box. So that's toy number 1. For toy number 2, we're going to do a Again, I'm gonna use some of our old clothes that we might have just been Marie Kondoing. And so for this, gonna grab an old pair of jeans. I have clearly worn through the bum on these ones, so it's time for them to have another use. And for these, I'm gonna go probably about 18 inches, like almost to the knee. And then I'm just gonna cut it straight across. So I've got the bottom part of the pants right here. And then instead of having a tube, I'm going to make a big rectangle. So I'm going to cut down along just one of the seams. And I like using denim for stuff like this just because it's really, it's really strong. It's a tough piece of fabric. So you've got your piece of your, now your big square. And then what we're going to do is starting at this, the raw edge at the top, just going to roll it. So you can see we're rolling it into a little tube. And then when it gets to the bottom, now we've got this kind of, just this big dense tube of denim. Now we've been practicing those knots so much on the pull toy that we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to just tie an overhand knot. And so that's where you go over and then under and through. And believe it or not, this is a toy that a dog will love to chew and worry at. And if you have any puppies, if anybody's got some puppies that are teething, get something like this wet, stick it in the freezer to freeze it, and that's really, really nice on their mouths. So there's toy number 2. I realize we're doing a bit of a blue theme today. And then toy number 3, which is, I think, the easiest one that we've got. And that's, you'll take an empty water bottle and a sock that has lost its mate. Stick the water bottle in the sock. And tie a knot at the top. And so for those dogs that really like that sort of crunchy sort of a toy, they can get on it and have a great time crunching around with that. So, really the goal here is to take the stuff that we have, figure out a way that we can use it safely with our dogs. And again, just as a reminder, none of these are really made to be given to your dog just by themselves. So please do supervise while your dog is playing with any of these. So there you have it. Those are 3 quick toys. The next thing we're going to talk about is puzzles. And so for puzzles, really the big picture of the puzzle is that you want to make it so the dog has to use their brain in order to get their reward. And so that, so it makes it just a little harder for them to get, their treat, to get their kibble, and it means they have to really be thinking about it. They say a tired dog is a happy dog, and a dog that has been using his or her brain for a while, they definitely get themselves tired out. So we can start, what we'll do with these is you start simple, and then you can get more and more and more complicated. So I'm going to move the camera angle a little bit so you can see the workspace. And for these ones, I'm just going to use some kibble. I think, especially when you're keeping your dog interested and keeping your dog engaged, they can get a fair amount of the kibble that they're going to get during the day just in these puzzle toys. And that way you're not giving your dog a whole lot of extra food. You're not worrying about your dog getting overweight, but you're just still keeping their brains engaged. So we have some plastic cups, we have some kibble, and you can take some kibble and put a cup over top of it. And then your dog has to figure out how to get this. And so this can be a great way to just get them started. It's a pretty easy, it's pretty easy to knock these over. If the dog isn't figuring it out, you can even, knock one over for them to help them understand. So that's kind of, your base level way to hide some treats in a way that your dog can find and have a lot of fun with. When your dog is ready to go to the next level with that, you can grab any kind of plastic container that you have. So, this is one for me that trail mix came in. I washed it out, dried it. You want to make sure that these are dry on the inside, because if you stick some kibble in here and it's wet, the kibble will stick to the side of it, and that can be really frustrating for the dog. So, if you have a yogurt container or a margarine tub or, any of those sorts of containers can work great for this. Especially, you just want to make sure they're ones that will actually seal, that will close. And then we grab our trusty pair of scissors again, and we're going to cut some holes in here. So, you want to definitely be careful when you're cutting things out. And, especially when you're starting with it, make the holes big enough so that the food will fall out quickly enough to keep the dog interested. So I've got, you can see it's a pretty big sized hole there. I'm going to put another one on the other side. And if you have a dog that is really into chewing plastic things, this might not be a good idea for them, because, you don't want them to ingest the bits of plastic. And again, that's why it's so important that you supervise your dog, especially when they're playing with toys like this. But then you just stick some kibble in here and close it up. And then your dog's got to figure out how to manipulate it so that the food can come out. And so with these, I didn't happen to have any round ones, but round ones can be nice because they'll roll. These ones you're just going to apply sort of like he'll have to manipulate it by getting it on its side. This can be just a really fun way to help your dog to, do another one where your dog has to find things and explore things in that way. And a third one that you can try is with a paper plate. And this, again, it'll be, this will be one that you want to just have, you want to be sure that you're supervising your dog with it again. But if you fold it in half like this, and then stick some kibble in the middle of it, and then you can just fold the sides up a little bit And it makes a little package that then he's going to have to figure out how to manipulate and how to get in here. This is a hard one for the dog because they can't see the treat, and the paper is just a little stiffer. So you might need to start by like putting a kibble like really close at the very top so that they understand that there's more food inside. This one can be a really fun one. I wouldn't do it on your, really expensive carpet, just as the dog is going to be tearing up the paper plate too. There'll be a little bit of stuff that you would have to clean up. And again, you want to watch to make sure that your dog isn't eating the wrong thing, that they aren't eating the paper instead of the treat. And the last one, we've got our trusty box. And you think about the box as being the cat's best friend, but the dog can enjoy it too. The nice thing about these boxes is it's easy to go from to increase the difficulty level. So the easiest thing to do is to take some kibble and just throw it in the box and let the dog figure out how to get into the box to get it without it being closed at all. The next level up would be to close the box like this, not attach it or anything, but the dog now has got to figure out how to get into the box with it. And then if you want to make it even harder for your dog, you can grab some newspaper or the paper that comes in the box where they sent you something, or wrapping paper or whatever it is, and crumple some of it up in there. So you've got, just some things that the dog has got to root through. And again, as they're learning this one, you'll want to make sure that you've got some kibble like really right up on the top of it so that it's easy for them to understand. And then it'll stimulate their digging instincts so that they can so that they can go through and find all this. It's kind of similar to a snuffle mat like you might have seen or you might have those are great too. All right, so those are the easy ways to do some puzzle toys and to do some regular toys. Are there any? I don't see any questions yet. If there are any questions, feel free to stick them into the Q&A. But I'm going to bring my colleague Jacob on, and Jacob is our resident cat expert. Hi, Jacob.
Hi.
So we love our dogs. We love Make a Dog's Day, and we love our cats too. And so Jacob is going to show you how to do a quick and easy cat toy.
Yes. Thank you. All right. So this is really simple. This is the bonus cat toy. You can make this with materials that are either easy to get or maybe you already have at home. So materials are baby socks, Velcro, ribbons, and catnip, and bell. So I'm going to aim this down so you can see what it does. Sorry. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is cut off, Velcro has, of course, two pieces. So you're going to cut off one side and then cut off on the other side. And you're going to take the baby sock and flip it down a little bit, like so. stick the Velcro on each side, like this. Stick one right here on one side. Stick the Velcro, other side of the Velcro, like this. Stick it on the other side. So you've got one on each side after you flip that down. So now when you roll this up, the two pieces will stick together. Then you take your trusty catnip and you fill the sock with catnip. Give it a funnel here. Okay, I won't fill it totally up. And then with the bell, you can either throw the bell in there. That's a really easy thing to do. Or you can attach a ribbon. Sometimes cats might want to slap around at the bell with a ribbon on it. So cut the ribbon, like so. And then you thread the ribbon through the bell. The cats really like bells. They like, well, most cats like catnip, and they also like things that make sounds. So you stick the ribbon through here. And you tie it off. And there you have it. A very easy toy for cats. You just fill it up with catnip. This is really maybe a good thing for children can make too, because all you need is the baby socks, maybe supervision with the scissors. But yeah, there's your very easy baby sock cat toy.
Thank
And Morgan, did you have anything else?
and
Do you have any questions, anybody?
I love how it seems like the day is using your socks to make pet toys. You know, so I think just the real important thing with this is that it's, you know, it's really all about that relationship that we have with our pets, and playing with them is a great way to enhance that human animal bond. And we hope that you guys all go and have some fun with your dogs and cats today. So we'd love for you to join us on our afternoon calls or afternoon webinars. We've got how to take better photos of your pets coming up at 4. I can't wait for that one. And then Q&A with our training team at 6. Oh, and I just had one come in. Oh, okay. So thank you guys so much. And this will conclude the webinar. We'll see you again at 4 p.m.